Hang on, everyone. Let me get set up. That came like a sudden thrill, this apparatus being totally intimidating to me in front of me. Then you know you're in the right line of work. Isn't that right, Masterclass? Martin Scorsese. We'd rather watch his show, but that's one show we definitely don't have the rights to. That we don't have the rights to all of these, but are on loan and lent to us and copyrighted by Wizards of the Coast and everything. It's not like we're playing Dungeon Master. Okay, I know you're going to ask me. We're watching D&D, the cartoon, but the Wizards of the Coast are still with us, and I've got one of their clerics right here who said he fought a bothersome fight and joined the Wizards of the Coast on absolute indication that he had to have his PhD. So now we've got this cleric with a PhD, and clerics know a lot about religion, but religion doesn't really get you far with a philosophy degree, because philosophy tends to be greater than religion, or stronger, or more powerful, or more believable, or more universal definition-wise of what things really amount to in ontology and linguistic studies. And everything have put these movies, these cartoons, in the same boat as something like narrative film, that they're being made with this sort of foregrounding and the foreplaying. No, that's the wrong word. I'm sorry, D&D. I know you want the word. They're setting up a condition, foreshadowing. It means you're setting up a condition early in the cartoon that's going to be resolved later in the cartoon by referring back to where you left the index point on the previous scene that will be repeated. And that's what these characters are saying right now. So please, everyone, welcome to Cartoon Critic Captain Greenbeard, the Cartoon Critic. I used to be a sailor. I sailed the 7 seas with Sinbad. I sailed the seas with Jason and the Argonauts. I sailed the seas with Odysseus. And then I wound up being the commander of the Flying Dutchman, where we could only buy weed once every 7 years, and it ran out in a year, and I see what they mean on self-reliance and weed. It doesn't work, but I need some weed right now, so hang on. I got some, it's good. That was weird. Just when I put the weed down, that dragon popped out. Was that in my own mind? Was there really a dragon there? And these guys aren't supposed to kill dragons just because dragons are in. They're supposed to make it through dungeons and pretty much avoid dragons, because I don't think he's... Do you really think he'll get the smackdown on that dude? Oh! He makes it to the silver-plated spot of no attack. And everyone's running in different directions, or you're going to confuse the dragon. She's going to lure him back in, make herself invisible except for her footprints, which means she really is her. Only her foot would be that shoe size. Whoa, dude, that was the Rock of Gibraltar. What if that was the Barney Sun, dude? You just cut off that dragon for a day and a half until we have to open that back up and sprawl them loose, gang. Oh, Scooby, you'd never believe what we found out next door. Next door, you say? And that is really why you get to see yourself as one of the characters. This is one way I learned. As the learners of Strike Zone G are all about to hand me my hat, and suddenly I'm looking ahead and I'm saying, no straight up problem. What are we dealing with here, though? Not even enough for the version I need. Not even enough. We've gone to the well of animation, and this is the CalArts animation archive, which I have compiled of all these cartoons that I downloaded and got the rights to reshow on YouTube. And that went to California Institute of the Arts now that they have a big archive of animation there from various auteurs like Oscar Fischinger and just craftsmen like those working for UPA. And these D&D cartoons are really intricate, and they really draw like smooth draftsmanship. The characters look really realistic, and they're the kind of cartoon human that I think we're all comfortable with seeing, with the galated features and the interesting Wellesian camera work of them chimes at midnight. Falstaff. Do you believe the winter's coil could have us on this moment to take at last the leash where it has not been driven? Take their reins as they have not been driven, and one future day we will take the rest of our leashes off. And we'll be back in a few days with the answer. I mean, Wizards of the Coast are magic. You know, they probably would have come along and said, well, you made 60 billion in Final Fantasy 15. It's the least we could hand to your bosses to take most of it. And I said, well, if they even get me out of that, they were the ones that bought me the video game equipment in the first place. So, I don't know. I'm not really in it for the money. The high score? Yeah, I'm in it for the high score. Let's go on a high-scoring, lots of cinema in this cartoon match. The David Lean shot, no doubt. The Lord of the Rings shot before Lord of the Rings. Or after. Lord of the Rings was due time ago. Although these cartoons look 1980s or early 90s. It kind of looks like Captain In, the Game Master, which so far the cartoon gods have not laid upon us to get what we need from this particular enchanting fantasy is to watch, in order that we've ascribed one D&D film by the next, by their own cartoon form, to help the unicorn up the stepladder, which is one of our goals. But our goal here is to release the idea of becoming a wizard in reality, and in Wizards of the Coast you have to be a real sorcerer to join. And there's none of this like easy does it type thing. It's like sorcerer or no, you keep all the secrets, I'm keeping all the secrets. I won't even tell you what Illuminati tricks I learned at the temple. There were things at the temple that only the pure were given eyes to. And it kind of rocked out like a rock concert too at one point, so I don't want to give away who was the devil or anything, but that was really... It was interesting to see that she finally took a pole vault to a cloud and came dancing down to where she needed to. Among the ropes, she was going to pull the lever and bring down the drawbridge. Now that they couldn't see that ahead of time was really to their misfortune. Book on tape ended. Yes, I thought I'd play the D&D book on tape that matched this episode. Let's see, let's rewind it a little bit. Wait, there's nothing on the tape, listen. I don't know if we should have played the music for that long in the background without interrupting it, you know what I mean? But show them that you're the men from the boys and that we can gather to us the things that we need. Wow, that beard is long, dude. That beard is long. Oh, he's kind of aloof. He's kind of acquiesced. He's kind of hiding in the background of all these cartoon shots like he's camera shy. Merlin is camera shy. And that's not Merlin. That's actually a cleric that joined Cartoon Critic. And what can we say about this level of D&D cleric? Well, I retired from clericacy as soon as Dungeon Master was over, but he remained in the guild and it's kind of in the top 3 positions, and the top 2 never change. And it's kind of the way his friend was on YouTube the other day. He was only 3rd place in all the world, and it really made him rippled because he knew the first 2 that were in the top, and he's always writing about them, and it's just these people on the internet, we want to say, but then that there's chalked up witnesses that, yes, there are those more viral than any others that are from other countries or not. And that I'm only viral because of other countries is totally true. Like the fact that the Iranians still watch me after this is what the director said. After making Hanging Azad in a 14 episodes extravaganza, and Azad being the physical volume of health that I oppose him to be. Do you not know it is time for Merlin to shave? Oh, back to the cartoon. Well, he's got the lightning arrows. Lightning arrows. Lightning arrows. Well, would you look at the freaking time? It is still a dragon battle. It's still non-stop. Usually you just kind of paralyze and leave the dragon behind so he doesn't catch you on the way out of his fortress. That they're going to get out of this fortress and escape the dragon, probably because they barred him up in that room, but they're looking for a way to bar him out. And by my clock, we still have like 13 minutes and 30 seconds, and there is no way this D&D cartoon is scratching out to that long. But I'm liking how this guy's like a chimera of dragons. He's like the non-existent dragon we don't expect, but it looks so realistic that only a D&D stylish illustrator could make a dragon that respectfully well made. And I remember these books as a kid that we had to color it, the color of the show on TV, and those dragons were hard to color because they had different colored heads, and you'd always be borrowing markers from the tray. She knocked it under, and it's a toy you can have, and you can make those toys and color them too. D&D had a lot of different toy mediums, and in the toy medium, materialism on a project is okay, even if it's only your chi, which is that what you want closest to you at all times. If it is, then you have your chi to check on. And that's bad chi, because if you have to check on it, you don't think it's there. But if you know it's there, I won't go do it. Now, everyone, I'm going to shave today, and when I do, if I have a nervous breakdown, hang with me for a month and then put on some Plan 9 from outer space to snap me out of it, but it's only on the second screening that it will work. I don't think that's funny of him to joke like that. That was years ago I had to deal with that. But being the Brewster McCloud that I am, I flew up to the skies, grabbed the Phoenix Down, and brought it to him. You think that's hard? You should see them get Phoenix Downs in Final Fantasy. They're like half your gold a battle. Half my gold a battle to a Phoenix Down. That's the original Final Fantasy song that I stole and changed the lyrics to. Well, we're all walking in circles. Why did we even go down this road? I'm bored. There's never anything to do around here except watch these dumb shows where these guys make voices of the cartoon that didn't even happen. I mean, can we hear the sound of this? No, we cannot hear the original soundtrack of this forge is being remade into Chivalry Lost, The Kingdom Come. Oh, it's just like that book I read the other day. What was it called? I know what it was, but I don't want to get into that because books are hard to do. I'm writing a book right now, Grandpa Merlin, and it's going to be about a chef. Not like Ratatouille, but a chef nonetheless. And he never becomes master chef because the master chef that he learns from is the chef from South Park. But it's all in heaven, see, because it's a church movie. All right. Enough of your church movie ideas. I told you religion doesn't really mix well with philosophy. I mean, these guys are definitely philosophers. Philosopher's Stone, Harry Potter, you know the drill. But these inferior to philosophy, aka religion, which philosophy's whole point is that it's superior to everything, including religion. Okay, but maybe it's not superior to medicine, but Aristotle talks all about the philosophy of medicine, and that there's a philosophy for everything empowers it to be a greater thing because there's not a religion for everything in the world. Only the runes and castigans and totems that you collect for one. Can we just, watch the beauty of this cartoon and just not talk about dungeons? Okay, so when I was playing Dungeon Master, I got past the Pokemon level, which seems impossible until it all comes to a crazy close where he's beating the game. And you can tell it's fair and square. And I thought everything seems to go flail against him winning it. And then he drops that card, and all the rest of Dungeon Master is sort of important for the same dungeon being attached to the same dungeon. But here on Cartoon Critic, we do things a little different. Every edit leads us to believe there was an edit placed in the cartoon, or we're rewinding and fast forwarding, like in that silent film show, only this time we're not really doing that with this particular clip because We're still short on timer. I'm getting a little concerned about the dropout of this video and the go to the context of the next, considering that Captain Greenbeard is so stoned he went outside to catch some fresh air. No, I couldn't fool you. That was just me doing it in an American accent as Captain Greenbeard. We all know I originally had a Viking accent and then a pirate accent and then a British accent and a conquistador accent, and they all kind of faded into one just quiet self of mine that never really knew the highwayman would pick me up one day and take me along on this great dungeon master adventure that to give me dungeon master appeal as Captain Greenbeard, who can only go to shore once every 7 years, and this year I'm ashore. And I'm ashore until Captain Greenbeard, Cartoon Critic, runs out of ideas, which is never. So I guess I'm ashore. But I had to come here to get stock up on the weed to send the Flying Dutchman out, which has 7 years, and they go through the weed in 1 year. And if you go through the weed in 1 year, that leaves 6 years out on the high seas, going cabin crazy because you don't have any weed. That's why you need to make more stops at port cities. I keep trying to tell them, but the Flying Dutchman, like the Flying Dutchman, they're both cursed. They both have to remain out 7 years. One has to find a wife. One has to supply the weed for a year, but it's supposed to be for 7, but only lasts 1. It's like a floating dispensary that gets jacked within the first several days, and then we're all back in time. Yes, we're back in time. You can see how that time-traveling metaphor really soothes in here. These close-ups make me wonder about this perfect curator amount of draftsmanship, that they are the comfortable type of humans, not the dizzy, cartooned out like character of like an exaggerated person, but that this unexaggerated curb your enthusiasm, everyone. The dungeon may as the dungeon might. Let this not be the end of this Cartoon Critic tonight. But it's not tonight yet. I mean, many of you are watching this tonight. Many of you have seen it in the morning. Some of you have actually seen that they were doing it live every time and watched the live as it's being made. Some of you can even clear up my camera from at home and make it clearer by upgrading me immediately, and then we upgrade the camera as well as the computer, and then boom, it just upgraded, so now we see an even more interesting version of this cartoon where it's more flowing, and all the beautiful colors, like the neon colors that are coming off of the spear, were really well done, and those lasers there. This is very Wizards of the Coast. I mean, it's just these random abstracts of D&D that is so important to all of us. And then it's lightning down, I mean, and we've got a little time to talk. It looks like somehow miraculously, Rick Moraneously, that we're to the last 3.5 minutes of Cartoon Critic, because it's only a 24-minute show normally until a new season comes, and then there's a special first episode, like Pilot was a hour-long show, and then the second season opener was the movie of season 2, that this is the 17th labeled one. I think it might be the 18th labeled one. Let's see. Last time it was 17, I want to say. 16. So this one's 17. 17th episode. That sounds still a long ways away from the 24th episode, which is the end of season 2. So if you want to renew these marathons of Cartoon Critic and all the Cartoon Network delicious things, then write to YouTube and tell them that Captain Greenbeard, Cartoon Critic, is your favorite of all hosts, for your favorites of all cartoons, for your favorites of all critiques on cartoons, political, psychological, This being religious, but philosophically religious, is the only way religion is accepted. And then to drive philosophy back to the top of the heap as the most important priority, I think is where you could go wrong in school by not doing that. If you don't think philosophy, you're going to hinge it all on philosophy, then don't go to school, because everything at school is hinged totally on philosophy. So, you're saying that the learning of knowledge got me through this D&D game. Well, all your characters are still alive. How do you feel, young Harry? I'm not Harry. I'm his friend Ron. No, you're Harry Potter, all right. I know that look of a witchcraft wizardy type of dude myself. But they're all getting on their horses and steering away. It's gonna be a brighter day. I'm looking in and you're looking out. Had a way to go out. Well, we're gonna have to record all of these. So to do. The last credits. Sorry if there was a technical difficulty. This ending of this cartoon, I've never seen it this far. I always got cut off, edited off before the very end. And we're using edit as the main word between splices. And that sounds too much like spliff. Oh, I really need to go smoke a spliff right now. That cartoon left. Oh, let's see the credits. They're flying by so fast I can't see them all. Okay, I saw them all this time. Wow, these guys really got on good with the show. They're being brought to the top credits of these animated masterpieces. This is beautiful. We've just seen a beautiful D&D cartoon. And all of these people... Oh, Gary Gygax, he's the guy that invented Dungeons & Dragons. Wouldn't they be proud on Dungeon Master of that? I almost want to post this to Dungeon Master, but it's Cartoon Critic and it wouldn't work. And anyways, these guys are skipping to something else, so that it's a football commercial or a sports commercial I'm okay with. This probably won't work very well, but we're going to get a preview of the coming distraction. It's not quite a remake of Les Vampires versus Celine and Julie, the old comic book that we are held to grant, you know. Sorry everyone, something is going wrong, viciously wrong with my AI motor. I don't use AI, that's why. Oh, look, they all looked at the screen and I not. Ready? Now look over here, everyone. Scooby, over here. Scooby, I'm talking to Scooby. I talked to Dungeons & Dragons and Scooby in the same one. Well, the dark folklore does sort of pour out in this gothic kind of wrenching way in those two cartoons, but Shaggy's optimism and his love for things like Scooby snacks, which really were made for dogs. And, you know, if it's made for dogs, it's probably not for humans, and humans don't just have to jump down on all fours and eat what's for dogs just because they are stoned and they need something to eat. And I'm not saying that's what's happening in Scooby-Doo. And Scooby snacks have been made edible. And I had a Scooby snack the other day that tasted like my weed coming through my pipe, you know what I mean? There was a flaming Scoob, like half of it was on fire. And I still have a craggledy throat from it. I have a craggledy throat, and I'm supposed to sing for Paul White Trash. He's using me again, and I don't know what to do because my voice is turning to laryngitis. Aw, crap, we've gone overtime. Thank you, YouTube, for all you've done for me, man. I'm gonna cry how much YouTube's done for me. Just kidding, I'm not crying.